Last night, I decided to sit down and map this plan out. Normally, I wouldn't do this, but we're just getting when you add the complexity of the injury, and I'm also trying to slowly scale volume. Um, I just don't want it to get out, or I start to do some sloppy programming just because I'm shooting from the hip, and obviously trying to get the best out of this. So I'm going to share with you guys the roadmap that we got that I'm laying out right now. Okay. So we'll go over that real quick. So the first month um, we did like a MAPS 15, 5, 6 day a week, 2 exercises a day layout. Then I moved to like a split. The thought was like an upper body split, but I'm going to do like a little bit of a twist. I prefer doing legs with a small muscle group like bis and tris. And so this is what the routine is going to look like right now. It may get modified. I may add or change some things, but I'm trying to just work it out in my head if I were to lay this right out at like a legit program for this. And the thought process when creating this is I want to create so this is just to preface before I get critiqued by somebody. Well, you missed this and you're not doing that. I'm trying to, for myself, I'm trying to create a minimalist program. So a program that I can do the least amount of work in here to elicit the most change. So, I'm not really going to worry about traps and forearms and calves that often, although I'll show you how I'm going to incorporate that stuff in core. I really just want to make sure I take care of the major muscle groups, pack on as much muscle as evenly as possible while working around the chest injury, which throws a new curveball at this programming. So this is kind of like the skeleton. So the skeleton is going to look like this. It's going to be a 4-day split with a 5th day flex. And so day 1 will be legs, bis, and tris. Day 2 will be back, shoulders, and chest. Day 3, legs, bis, and tris again. Day 4, back, shoulders, chest again. And then day 5, we're going to call this I'm going to call it a touch-up day. And I'm going to make it like a flex day where core, calves, mobility, shrugs, anything like that, like what I would call like auxiliary touch-up work. Like, my body feels fresh. I'm not like super sore, motivated to go to the gym a 5th day. I'm going to go in and do some of that work. So I'm going to call this like a touch-up day or a flex day. So the program is really going to call for 4 committed days that I'm going to make sure I do the major work. And then I'll have a 5th day where, hey, if I got extra time or feeling good, I'll go down to the gym and I'll do this kind of touch-up stuff, which will be mostly machines, getting a little pump, almost like a trigger or a focus day with a little more emphasis on specific body parts. That's day 5. So I'm going to run through a routine like this. Now, I said chest, right? So there's going to be, I'm going to make some modifications like what you're going to see me do today. Like I did the other day where I did shoulder press for 8, I think I did 8 sets or 10 sets because the idea was to do it at a slight incline, not quite 90 degrees, but like back a little bit so my chest incorporated. So I'm gonna start to build little chest movements and targeting the chest in this routine because I don't want to completely ignore it. I feel like we're healing, we're doing good, but I also don't want to make the mistake of hitting it really hard. So today we're going to be doing back, shoulder, and chest stuff. So I'm going to do some rows, some bench supported rows, or dumbbell rows. And then I think I'm going to do like I did the other day where I did like the incline press, but instead of just doing like 4 sets, I'm going to do 8 to 10. Every day we'll have the leg days, there'll be a major mover like a squat or a deadlift. I'm going to run those like a 5x5. And then like the bis and tris, I might do a little bit higher reps, but we'll do like 4 sets of that. So every day there'll be a 5x5 exercise. That's like the big gross motor movement. So that would be like a barbell row. That would be the barbell back squat or front squat. That would be deadlift. That would be pullovers, things like that. That's going to be the big 5x5 movement, and then the other 2 movements that I do will probably be 4 sets. So that's kind of what I came up with right now. It may change as we go through it, but I think at least now I have a good, clear plan of what I want the split to look like. And again, this is kind of a minimalist idea. We started this off with a 2 exercises a day, 5-day, 6-day a week routine, like MAPS 15. I want to start to increase volume just a slight bit. Want to make sure the bulk of the workouts are these big gross motor movements. We get the biggest bang for buck. But it's my version of like a minimalist routine. I want to try and want to do as little as I can in here to still continue to build this physique. So that's the plan. Also going to start. I just started it right now. We're gonna start building a little playlist of everything we've been going through here. Yeah, so I've commented on it there. So it's all from my Spotify. So if you go to Spotify, my handle is We Love to Hate Adam with the number 2. So you can find the playlist on there. I'm gonna build another one specifically for the stuff that we've been kind of listening to. This is the beginning of it right now, so I'll start working on that. All right, so that I do need my aminos today. I already took my creatine. We're good on that. Josh, I think I'm going to do bench supported rows. I don't know if you guys want me rolled over here or in front of that mirror over there. Either one's fine. You know, I really rarely ever write my workouts out. And I also think that this has inspired me to write a new program. I think that I'm going to start documenting some things. And this is really, it's already shaping up to be different than anything we've done before, which is kind of cool. And, you know, we've never written a program from that kind of mindset of like minimalist, you know. I mean, MAPS 15 is a minimalist program, but, you know, we don't really scale it. So we're going to scale this one. I'm kind of excited to see how this goes. So let's do a little bit of priming right now. Since we're doing upper body, I'm just going to do some prone cobras real quick. We were talking on the podcast yesterday, and Sal brought up a really forgotten great movement that I'm definitely going to build into the routine this week, and that's pullovers. Such a great exercise for your lats, shoulder mobility, good strength exercise too. You can get pretty heavy on it, and you just don't see people doing a lot of it. So, in fact, when he brought it up, I was like, you know what? I'm due for those. And considering I'm working on my shoulder mobility and the ability for me to move that scapula really well, it'll be a good exercise for me to do. So technically I could do it today, but I'm going to do the rows today. I'm going to do some W's too real quick. I should mention too that really overreached on the squats the other day. For the viewer, we took a 2-day break between these workouts, and thank God I did, because my hips were really talking to me. And I think it's just because we should have spent a little more time priming, especially if I was considering moving up in weight. We went the heaviest we'd gone for, I think we did 2 sets of 5 reps at the heaviest, and just hips were really talking to me the last couple of days. My IT and TFL super tight. Probably shouldn't have pushed it that hard yet. Been meaning to shout out my buddy who's got the shirts. So everybody keeps asking about where the shirts come from. Chris Nagibi's podcast. So a good friend of mine, the Higher Standard podcast. So I know he has like a little apparel line. I just like the oversized. Every shirt you've ever seen me wear is always an extra large, but this is like a oversized extra large. So I really like it. Shout out to Chris. I know he's watching. Better than my own co-host, right? Oh, I'll start with 50s. I did 8, but I want to keep increasing the weight until we get to where 5 is challenging. So first set we did 8, get to 60s, and then 5 should start to feel pretty good. So I got this company that wants to advertise with us, and they basically do a 3D image of you, and it takes all of your circumference measurements, your body fat, everything, and super cool. You can do it all by yourself. You put it up on the stand. I did it last night. Before I give them love, though, I want to make sure that it's pretty accurate and I like it. So I just started playing with it last night. Super interested in see what this looks like. So I promise, if it's any good, I'll share with the audience. But I just started playing with it yesterday. Could be a really cool tool, not only for personal use for working out, but for clients too. So super interested to see how accurate it is. And again, we always talk about they don't have to be crazy accurate, because you're really just using it as a guide and a baseline. So long as it's good and consistent, that's what matters the most. So we'll see. Okay, 1 down. Here we go. All right, we can go up again. We're gonna go down to Cars and Coffee on Sunday. Yeah. Take the old school out. This is my brother. You saw my brother-in-law's his Chevelle.
When's the last time you drove that thing?
Mine.
Yeah.
I actually haven't had the old school out since probably the last time you were around me. One of the last Cars and Coffee we did at the beginning of the season. I just called down to the garage and asked them to fire it up and make sure everything's good. They just text me right now. We're good to go. I will take my Camaro. He'll take his Chevelle. Probably be one of the last Cars and Coffee before the winter comes.
They try to get some rollers or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Here we go. Feeling good and light. I like it. That was 3, right? 3? 2 more sets. We'll get up to 70 now. So this is kind of a interesting point to talk about right here. As I continue to increase every round here, because we're in the 5x5 and strength phase of the programming, I really want to keep increasing weight if I can. So if I was in a hypertrophy, muscle endurance type of phase of my programming, meaning north of 12 reps, so 12, 15 reps like that, I'd be less worried about trying to keep increasing the weight. I would just slow the reps down, squeeze, stay with a light weight. I wouldn't be really trying to keep increasing, right? But because I want to stretch my capacity strength-wise, like those last 3 rounds, I could have done 10, 12 reps, but I don't want to fatigue the muscle because the adaptation we're chasing is not endurance or hypertrophy per se. We're looking more for overall strength. That doesn't mean that they all don't contribute to each other. In other words, when you train in high reps for muscle endurance, you still get hypertrophy and strength benefits also. But when you go into a phase and you're seeking a certain rep range or a certain adaptation, the mindset around the training changes. When I'm high reps, I don't really care about maximal strength. I care more about feeling the muscle, the pump, slowing the tempo down. If I have a light weight, who cares? I'm just chasing that pump, the movement, all that stuff. So when we move into this like 5, 4, 3 rep range, we want to heavy load it. If I grab a weight, that's pretty easy for me. I don't want to rep it out 10, 15 times. I'm going to set it down and I'm going to keep going up in weight until I find a weight that, okay, 5 I'm struggling with. So part of what you see me doing right now is trying to figure that out. Once I've done this a few times, so next time we do this in the strength phase, I'll probably start more like 60, 65, because I can tell already that I'm going to be able to get all the way up to 70s or more. Last one, I might make a jump all the way to 80 and see what happens. It's been the best use ever of a tonal. I think did we give that thing away or what? It'd be really interesting. There was a lot of people when I first came out and kind of talked trash about it that were defending it, how much they love it. That was like a year or 2 ago, maybe 2 years ago. Be interesting to see how many of them are still using it consistently. I'm sure we'll get somebody pissed off on here. Hey, if it works for you, right? Okay, let's get these bad boys. Since I did so many lighter sets of that, just because we were talking about it, I'm gonna do a set or 2 of pullovers right now. Real light. I want to feel them. I haven't felt them in a long time. Curious to see how my shoulder feels. So we'll do that right here. I know it's a bit of an audible, but I really want to just feel this. So that's really light. Let's do one more set. Just want to feel that. So the next back day, we'll actually go heavy on the pullovers. Right now, I just want to go light and just want to feel it. I haven't felt that in a long time. Really good for my scapula, my shoulder. Work on that movement, so it just feels really good to do that. Here, one more. That felt good. That felt really good. All right, so remember what we did last time with our incline bench here? So it's kind of like a shoulder slash chest. What was our angle at? Were we right here? I think we were like right there. We'll see what that feels like. So again, too, we're gonna get like 8 to 10 sets. And if we were separating, so if I was doing like if I didn't have the injury on the chest, I would do a traditional shoulder press, and then I would do like a flat bench barbell or dumbbell press for my chest. 4 sets and 4 sets. Because of the injury, we're gonna do 8 of this kind of modified halfway between a shoulder, halfway between a chest. That's the thought process here. I remember last time we felt pretty strong. So I'm gonna come right out the gates at like 55s. We'll go from there. '65s. So last time we got all the way to 70s and stopped. This is going to be the 3rd round. We'll get to 70s right away. Stay there for a minute. Maybe the last set or 2 will go up, because that feels really good. Shoulder feels good. Not putting too much stress on the chest. I like it. I've actually been really surprised that we've been able to keep some of the conditioning of the chest with the injury and stuff. Probably the thing I'm most happy with, all things considering. Just that little bit of trigger sessions and making modifications like this has been enough to like stimulate the chest to not really atrophy. I think I said it the last time I talked about it. I can see a difference because I know my own body, and my chest is normally a strength of mine, and so it's lagging, but not nearly as bad as I thought. That makes me happy. And just an update on the injury and shoulder, so that I'm still working on it, man. Slow process. I have good days, I have bad days. Some days it feels really good, other days. And it really, I noticed it like when I sleep on it weird, and then it's all tight and weird. Or if I train really hard, I'm back. Yeah, we went. Is this 4? 55. I think we went 55. Is it 4? This is gonna be 4 right here. I think this is gonna be 4 right here. So I did 8 reps, right? I was just talking about how I would go up in weight because my shoulder and chest area is sensitive right now, or I'm worried that I don't want to do something stupid and re-injure it. I'm kind of breaking my own rule a little bit, right? Like those 70s feel light enough that if I was healthy, I would have stopped at 5 and went up again in weight. And then if I got the next 5 easy again, stopped at 5, gone up in weight again. Keep trying to really push what I was talking about earlier with the strength adaptation. I still want to try and push, but I also want to be mindful of I'm recovering, right? Still, you know? So I don't want to be an idiot. So I know that I just got done explaining that with my back, and then here I am doing 8 reps with 70s. And if I was taking my own advice, I would have cut it at 5, gone up again. But instead, I'm going to stay around the 70s. Maybe the last set will increase. Set 5. Here we go.
What's one of the biggest mistakes you see people make with the incline dumbbell press?
Kicking them up is one. So a lot of people don't know how to kick them up to your shoulders. A lot of people like pull and shrug and then end up tearing a rotator cuff or hurting themselves really bad. If you notice right before I get started, I use the legs to bring up to your shoulders. And then also when I come down, I catch on the thighs. And especially when you get heavy. It doesn't really matter when you got 20-pound dumbbells. It's pretty easy to bring them up by your side. You start moving 60, 70, 80 pounds, and that's how you get real hurt. And that rotator cuff is really sensitive. It doesn't take much weight outside of its normal range of motion, and you could tear it. So really using the legs to bring that weight. So it's like literally, I only have that little bit I got to go. That's probably one of the main ones. The other thing is that a lot of people, when they shoulder press, they do the kind of bodybuilder way, which is like 90 degrees, catching right here, and then going up. And I mean, I want to take that through its full range of motion and bring it all the way down and I'd rather get a lighter weight through its fullest range of motion than get these little short little pumping reps. I'll get more growth. And all the research supports that, right? That a greater range of motion is going to create and build more muscle, even with a lighter amount of weight. So sometimes guys get caught up in wanting to say that they can shoulder press 80, 90, 100 pounds, but then they're doing these little, half reps. It's like you'd be better off cutting that weight in half and taking it through its full range of motion. Not to mention that what you got to be careful of when you get really strong in a shortened range of motion is then you're really weak in a full range. And when you talk about a complex joint like the shoulder, which is kind of floating and it can move in all the different directions, by not training it in all those directions in its fullest range of motion, puts it at risk. So I don't know how many times I've seen the big bodybuilder guy who can military press 315 and then he gets hurt throwing a frisbee or doing something light and easy because he's so weak outside of that range of motion. And so he's got all this horsepower in this short amount of range of motion, but then as soon as he has to take his shoulder anywhere outside of that, he's really weak. Doesn't look like it because he's got big old boulders, but because he doesn't train that joint through its full range of motion, he's weak outside of that. So that matters too. Not just, I tend to communicate from a place of aesthetics and building the body. And so full range of motion is going to build a better body. But also when you think from a functional standpoint and overall shoulder health, you want to be able to train that thing through full range, which is also why Arnold presses are great movements, right? So Arnold starts you all the way down. So I'm at the very bottom, and then I rotate the shoulder all the way to the top and then come back. And that really takes, which Justin is a huge advocate for the kettlebell presses, right? He loves kettlebell presses because that spiraling motion is a normal motion for the shoulder to be able to do. And it gets you through full extension and all the way in. So being able to take that shoulder through its full range of motion, you get overall better development, you have overall better shoulder health. So a lot of this is the legs that get up first, right? It's been hard for me to eating a bulk right now. I've been struggling to hit 3,400 or above. I haven't really been worrying too much about it, so long as I'm hitting my protein intake, which I've been good. Just means I'm not going to build and grow as fast as I'd like. But I also know that I've been eating out of bounds the last couple of weekends with drinks and eating out. So part of me has been like trying to be increasing my calories at the same time. If I'm a little low for a couple days, it's just going to help me lean out and lose maybe some of that body fat I put on from overeating when I was out in Jackson Hole. But one of the things I am doing I'm going to write the program out. I'm also going to write out like the plan nutritionally, like, so the idea is to kind of rotate through these 2-week bulks with 1-week cuts, 2-week bulks, 1-week cuts throughout the phase that we go through right now. So that'll be a first too that we've ever written something that we call for the bulking and the cutting. See how it turns out. Last one. Shoulders feel really good. Oh yeah. Oh, that was perfect. That's the best when we can feel the last rep of the last set. A perfect struggle to get the last rep. I like that. Okay. We're just gonna finish up on some cable flies, real light again. So any of the days that I call for chest, I'm probably gonna finish off with some real light flies just to keep stimulating that chest until I start to build the confidence that I can start to stress it. Because I already learned my lesson with re-injuring it, I'm probably gonna lean the other direction now where maybe I'm already good, but I don't want to take the chance. We've got too good a momentum with everything else going to have a major injury setback again. So before, I think I was doing around there, I was doing slower isometrics. What I will do is increase the weight a little bit. Still light, but less isometric and more if I can get a little bit of a challenge here. Let's see what it feels like. Beautiful, boys. Another one down the books. I'm excited. This will be fun. This is a unique split, different than anything I've ever written before. But I feel like it's the perfect progression to what we were doing before. We still are floating around that 4 to 5 days. Ideally, like I said, the 5th day, the way I'm approaching is it's like a flex day. So if somebody were to follow the program and do just those 4 days, the idea is I could still build an incredible physique off of that minimalist type of program. Now, if I come in on the Friday and I touch up some core, abs, do some extra calf work or forearm or trap work, rotational mobility stuff, all positive things that are only going to benefit the program. But there's not that pressure of I have to come in the 5th day. It's like we got to get those 4 days done. We hit those 4 days and we're scaling volume perfectly, that we should see some continued growth. So that's the plan on this split. So excited, super unique to anything else we've done. just my chest. Normally my strong point.